Hello again, and we are live with the next snap session. Okay, so therefore, the idea is to quickly recap the concepts. Let's practice. Here we go. So, CL has its own module of snaps that management online classes. Just check out the details. If that suits you, you can look out for our program. Right, let's start with the session. Here we go, people. So we'll be practicing across a lot of topics. Right, idea is that you practice with me, right, and let's see how both accurate and quick you are. Right, accuracy is there, timing is there. Both are important, right? Doing all correct, but in not in the good amount of time is also bad, and doing all and doing a lot of them wrong is also wrong. So therefore we have to balance our speed and accuracy, right? वो कहते हैं ना कि दुर्घटना से देर भली. तो मतलब initially you have to be very circumspect with your accuracy, but then you also need to be very this is a speed exam for sure, right? There are no two ways about that. So therefore let's practice, right, with both speed and accuracy. Here we go. Next, the first one, here we go. A faulty measuring tape. A faulty measuring tape measures 94 centimeters for every 1 meter. If this tape is used to measure volume so obtained. So, volume is obviously product of the three dimensions, length into breadth into height. So therefore, the point is you're doing a 6% error in measuring each of the three parameters, right? Because you're measuring 6 centimeters less for every 1 meter. So that's 6% of error, right? So therefore, you're doing 6% error on length as well as on breadth as well as on height on the negative side. It's a negative error, right? So the cumulative effect of that will come into picture, right? LBH denote the actual length, breadth, height. Then the actual value that you're measuring is 0.94 of length, 0.94 of breadth, 0.94 of height. So if you multiply that, that will give you the value of the volume, isn't it? And you can understand it's 0.94 power 3 times the original volume. So obviously it's less than the original by how much? By how much percentage? Well, either in your calculator you can put 0.94 cube, right? But if you don't have calculator, then what? Because Snap does not give calculator. So therefore, what we have to do, we have to do this manually. So we have seen why I have put this question is that Snap is has in the past given us sometimes questions which are little calculation intensive, right? So here we have to do 0.94 into 0.94 into 0.94. Either you do that, okay. I don't know how quick you can calculate a cube of 94, or you understand that this is successive percentage change that is happening effectively, right? 6%, 6%, 6%. So what you do is apply the concept of successive percentage change, right? Because that is what is effectively what is happening, right? Change. So 6 minus 6 minus 6 minus 6 successive change, and apply the formula a plus b plus ab by 100. So minus 6 plus minus 6, which is minus 12, plus minus 6 into minus 6, which is 36 by 100, which is minus 12 plus 0.36 or minus 11.64% is the effective change of 6 cents. And then you still have one more minus 6 to deal with, right? So then apply the formula on these two, right? So again do a plus b and so on. So a plus b minus 617.64 plus minus minus cancels 11.64 into 6 by 100. So this is somewhere in the range of what 11 into 6. If I take rounded off as 66, so 66 by 100.66. So almost minus 17.64 plus 0.66 is almost minus 17. So yes, fourth option makes sense over here, right? So the idea, there are two things in this question. One is, when you have the product of variables, the concept of successive percentage change kicks in. That's the base concept, how we did this one. Right, and then we applied the formula twice because there were three changes in succession, right? Perfect. So that, I think, is right how we should do this. Okay, so try with me, people. Now I know a lot of people have joined the session, so let's try. Send me your answers on the chat box so that I also know that you are practicing along with me. Okay. Okay, so let me give a minute everyone to try this one. Right, let's see how quick you can get this, and let me know your answers. So 9 is to 11, right? So we can take their present ages as something like 9k and 11k, right? It is given that after 3 years, this ratio is going to be 5 is to 6, right? So therefore, after 3 years, which means their ages respectively will be 9k plus 3 and 11k plus 3. So the ratio of that means this fraction should equal 5 by 6. Once I get the value of k, then we can proceed further, right? So 9 into 6, 54k plus 6 into 3, 18 is 11 into 5, 55k plus 5 into 3, 54k as 18 minus 15, 3. So therefore, the present ages of Ajay and Biju are 9 3s at 27, 11 3s at 33. These are their present ages. And we are asked the ratio of the ages 3 years ago, means go back in the past 3 years. So that was in the past 24, 27 minus 3 and 33 minus 3, 30. The ratio of that is what? 6 into 4, 6 into 5, 4 is to 5. Right, people, very basic question. And with basic questions, the thing is that you're very quick, right? So that's why I give you the required amount of time. I did not get any answer, so perhaps you are still warming up to the session, right? Give me your answers with the next one. There we go. Okay, so I'm starting. You also start with me, and let's see who can get this faster, right? SICI. If the simple interest on a sum for 5 years at 8% per annum is $2,000, then what is the compound interest on the same sum at the rate of at the same rate for 2 years compounded annually? Right. So 5 years 8% SI. So I know in SI what happens is that you get the return, which is R into T% increase on your investment. So R is 8, T is 5. So 8 into 5, you're going to get 40% return on your investment. Right. So with that, you were asked, you need to figure out I think the principal, right? 40% of your principal is going to be the interest. So which is given as 2000. So 40% of 5000 is 2000. So the principal is coming to be 5000, right? That's what you get. Now you have to apply the CI for 2 years at 8%, and we know that CI is nothing but successive percentage change. So 8% return you'll get in succession for 2 years. So the effective return percentage that you get on your investment is 8 plus 8 plus 8 into 8 by 100, which is 16, and plus 64 by 100. So you get 16.64% return on your investment. I only follow one philosophy in SICI. It's all about percentage change. If it is SI, then you're getting R into T% return on your investment. If it is CI, then you're getting the return, which is the successive percentage change of R% applied as many times as is the time periods. That's all what I follow concept, right? So therefore, 16.64% of 5000 is your answer, which is obviously what? 832. Because all I see is I'm going to multiply with 5, which means effectively into 10 by 2. So divide this by 2, you get 832, right? So adjusting for the decimals, 832. Right, so that's the way to go with this, right? How you do this quickly. right? How you The idea is not to get into equations. That's what I've been saying so many times. We Even with SICI, I don't get into equations, right? People do PRT by 100, P into 1 plus R by 100 party. Oh, that's old school thought. That's what you do in your ninth and 10th class, not your competitive exams, right? Here we go. Another age problem. Okay, so please buck up. I know you can do this, right? Let me give you a minute to try. Okay. And also it's a live session, so just interact. Any doubt you get, anything you that you want to clarify, just let me know. I'll explain. All right. Time up. Time up. I didn't get an answer. A person is 4 times as old as his only daughter. He was 30 years old when his only son. So there are three persons involved. One is the person or the man, because he, and then his son and his daughter. Three persons. And we are going in the past also. He was 30 years old. So there is past involved. There is present also. The man is. So therefore, in this situation, a person is. So in the present, 4 times as old as his only daughter. So in the present, I think I wrote past. This is present. Let's call this present. In the present, the man is 4 times as old as his only daughter. So if the daughter is X years old, then the man is 4X years old. He was 30 years old. So we are going now in the past, 30 years ago. I mean, I don't know how many years ago we are going, but in the past, the man was 30 years old when his only son was born. And when somebody is born, their age is a very beautiful number called as zero, right? Um, right, and you don't even know about it. Okay, so he was 30 years old when his only son was born, and his only son, who is 3 years younger to his daughter, means his daughter must have been 3 years older to the son at that point of time also, which means she was 3 years old. Now we can understand that we are going in the past. The man is 30, the daughter is 3. So the age gap is what? 30 minus 3, 27 years old. 27 is the age gap. So that age gap is not going to change here also. So I think we can get X from the fact that the age gap between the man and the daughter should remain the same, right? The age gap between two persons never changes, right? Because we are not time travelers, right? So therefore, 3x, 4x minus x, that is 27, or your x is nothing but 9. What is the present age of the sun? Okay, what is the present age of the sun? We have to find this. Okay, so how much in the future we are going? I mean, how, or other around, how much in the past we are talking of? X is 9, so this is 9. So we have gone back in the past by 6 years. Means the sun is what? Sun is now 6 years old, right? Because we are talking of a past which is 6 years ago, isn't it? Very simple, commonsensical question. All age problems, only one basic concept applies. Age gap remains constant between any two persons, right? Because we don't have time machines. It can't happen that I grow old by 10 years and you get younger by 5 years, right? We age together. Okay, next one, time and distance. Right, so race problem, I guess, in a mile race, blah blah blah. So race, right? Ratio concept is paramount in time and distance primarily, right? If you have done the different questions, right? And that is primarily what race problems are also all about, right? So in a mile race, A beats B by 100 and C by 400, and also it is given here that 1 mile is 1600 meters. We are then asked to find in that same race by how many meters does B beat C. So the point is, you can find the ratio of the speeds of the racers from the fact that these are the win margins given to us. So when A runs the whole length, the whole race of 1600 meters, B is 100 meters behind, so he has only ran 1500 meters. So the ratio of their ages is 16 is to 15. And on the other side, between A and C, when A has run 1600, C is 400 meters behind, so he has run only 1200. So I'll just write 16 is to 12, although I can write 4 is to 3 also. But the point is 16 and 16 is common. So we can now observe that the ratio of the speeds of B and C we have over here, right? B is to C is 15 is to 12, or I guess 5 is to 4, right? 5 into 3, 4 into 3. By how many meters does B beat C in the same race? So when B will run 1600, how much will C run? So 5 into what is 1600? Because we have to maintain this ratio. 5 into 320 is for 1600. So 4 into 320 will be 1280. So he will be behind by what? 16 minus 1280, which is what? A gap of 320 meters. That is the win margin between B and C. Right. Pretty straightforward. If you understand the ratio concept, if you know that, if the win margin is given, you can find the ratio of the speeds between the racers. Right. All clear? Any doubt? Just let me know. I'm here to, if there is any confusion, anything that you want to clarify, you can please ask me, right? I'm actively looking out for any messages if you have. Perfect. Can we move on? Okay, here we go. Next one. Time and work. A and B are filling pipes. A and B are filling pipes. If the bottom 3/4 of a tank is filled by A and rest by B, the tank gets filled in 33 minutes. If the bottom 3/4 of the same tank is filled by B and the rest by A, the tank gets filled in 27 minutes. In how much time would A alone fill the tank? Perfect. So I think this is a very simple one in the sense that now time taken to do a certain work is proportional to the work. So if let's say the tank is filled by the pipe A in, let's say, A minutes, right? Then the pipe A will then fill 3/4 of the tank in 3/4 of A, right? So I'm taking, let's say, A and B as the respective time for the tank for the pipes A and B to completely fill the tank. So what we can write the equation. The time taken is 33 minutes if the bottom 3/4 is filled by A and the rest by B. So 3/4 of A, 3/4 of A, and then 1/4 of B is 33 minutes. Right, so we can simplify this and we can say that 3A plus B is 33 into 4, 132. And likewise, 1/4 filled by A, 3/4 by B. So 1/4 of A and 3/4 of B, that is 27 minutes. So our other equation becomes that A plus 3B, 27 into 4, 108. First and second equation, simple problem, just solve linear equations, get the answer. A alone, so we want small a, so eliminate B. So let's multiply the first equation with 3 to eliminate B, right? So this can be written as 9A plus 3B is what? 396, right? Perfect. So therefore subtracting 3B cancels and 9A minus A, so 8A, that is this difference, right? 396 minus 108, that's 288, right? So I'm getting A as 8 into 3, 24, then 48, 36. I'm getting A as 36 minutes, right? Just very simple concept that time taken to do a certain work is proportional to the work, right? 3/4 of the tank, 3/4 of the time. Okay, right? Here we go. Next one. Mixtures. Mixtures, right? And so that there is a concept of profit and loss also here. He sells the mixture at 72 per liter and makes a profit of 40%, right? So a milkman buys milk at 60 rupees per liter and adds some water. He sells the mixture at 72 per liter and makes a profit of 40%. What's the ratio in which the milkman mixed the milk and water? 4:1, 5:1, 6, and 7:1. So these kind of questions have come so many times that I'm sure you must have seen them. And the best way to do is, I mean, you first of all you're given the selling price and the profit percentage. So the first thing is find the effective or the net cost price of the mixture, right? So selling price is cost price into 1 plus P by 100, where P is the profit percentage. So therefore, CP other way around is SP over 1 plus P by 100, right? Selling price is 72 and this P is 40%. So 1 plus 40% is 2 by 5. So 1 plus 2 by 5 is 7 by 5, 1.4. So that coming to be a fraction of 360 by 7. Let it remain in fraction. Don't calculate the decimal value. Now come to the fact that you are mixing milk and water. Milk is costing you 60 and water is costing you nothing, zilch, right? So 60 and 0 are being mixed to give an overall effective cost price of 360 by 7. There kicks in your concept of alligation, right? This 360 by 7 is the weighted mean of milk and water, 60 and 0 respective cost price. So therefore, the alligation rule will now come into picture. 60 minus 360 by 7 here and 360 by 7 minus 0 here. So this is 7 into 60, 420 minus 360 back to 60 by 7. So this ratio 360 by 7 is to 60 by 7 is what? 7 7 cancels, 6 is to 1. Right? So did you get the point? That first of all find the overall effective cost, then use the alligation concept. Right? Isn't it? Perfect. So just be aware of, the best way to do this question is I mean, the crucial part was, when you get to this 360 by 7, don't calculate. I have seen this many times that people start calculating the numbers in the middle of the, ongoing process of solving a question, right? I hope you understand that it's better to let it be, right? Work with the calculation at the end, right? Perfect. Okay, so let's see next one. What we have. Mensuration. Look at this very, very interesting one. Several identical cuboids of dimensions 4 by 3 by 2 centimeters are joined together to form the smallest possible cube. How many cuboids are required to make such a cube? Very conceptual question here. Let's understand what he's asking. A cube is having all the three sides of the same length, right? So a cube has all the three sides equal, right? So this length, breadth, height, each of them, let's say this is the length, right, that you have, this length. Obviously these cuboids will be stacked together, right? So the way you'll stack them, either 4 or 3 or 2 will come here. So maybe you start stacking such that the dimension 4 comes in this direction. So 4 and then 4 and then 4 and then 4. Can I say the length has to be a multiple of 4? Length has to be, if I keep on stacking it like this, it has to be a multiple of 4. And let's say this is the breadth, this one. And let's say the dimension of 3 comes into the picture over here. So 3, 3, 3, and so on. So can I say the breadth has to be a multiple of 3? But actually, this length and breadth are not equal. They are not different. Actually, they are all the same. So let's say A is the edge length of the cube. So A is a multiple of 4. And A is a multiple of 3 also. And likewise, along the third dimension, the height, right? The other dimension 2 will come into picture. And the side length A, again, has to be a multiple of 2 also. So the side length has to be a multiple of 4 as well as 3 as well as a multiple of 2, right? And therefore, A has to be a common multiple of all the three, right? So A is a multiple of all the three. So a multiple of their LCM, which is what? 12. Obviously, 4, 3, and 2, the LCM is 12. So the minimum side length that you can take is 12. And that's what we are doing over here. We are joining to form the smallest cube. So we are going to take the side length, which is the minimum possible, which is 12 itself, right? So with that, we can now say that how many cuboids are required. So we'll say, right, that each cuboid is of volume 4 into 3 into 2, right? And the volume of the cube is 12 into 12 into 12, right? So the number of cuboids that are required is how many? Obviously, that is nothing but the volume of the cube, which is 12 into 12 into 12, divided by the volume of each cuboid. That is the number of cuboids you will need, right? So 12 into 12 into 12 upon 4 into 3 into 2, that is your answer. 4 into 3, 12, cancels, 2 cancels here, 12 into 6, 72 cuboids will be required. Isn't it? Right? Perfect. So very conceptual question, right? Making a cube from a cuboid, right? So obviously, the thing that you can now take away from here is how the edge length of the cube has to be a common multiple of the edge lengths of the original cuboid that you had. All right, let's see what we have next one. Okay, something on algebra, index then surds. If x equals 9 plus 4 root 5, what is the value of root x minus 1 over root x? Right. So the question is primarily about taking the square root of this surd value. How do you take the square root of a surd? 9 plus 4 root 5, you are trying to take its square root. So the idea is to express it in a way that it looks as if it's a perfect square. Right. So if you have a surd like this, it can only be a perfect square of a number in the form of another surd. So maybe the I mean a plus root b kind of number, the square of that can lead to again a surd in this form, right? So think of this. When you take the square of a plus root b, what do you get? The integer part is a square plus b, and the surd part is 2a root b. So try to link in that way. So this is 2a root b and this is a square plus b. 2 is there and this is 2 into then 2 root 5. So 2 root 5 is a root b. So if a is 2 and b is 5, then it makes sense that this 9 is turning out to be exactly what I want. It is turning out to be 4 plus 5. 4 means 2 square and 5 means the square of root 5. So I have decoded that this is nothing but 2 plus root 5 the whole square, because this is 2 square plus root 5 square plus 2 into root 5. Right? So therefore the required square root of x is 2 plus root 5. Right? So if this was x, then my root x is 2 plus root 5. That is the main thing that you have to understand. Now doing that is not challenging. You have to find root x minus 1 by root x. So you have to do 2 plus root 5 minus 1 over root x again. So 2 plus root 5. Remember, root 5 is more than 2. So when you rationalize, multiply and divide by root 5 minus 2. So effectively this denominator will be 1, right? Root 5 plus 2 into root 5 minus 2 is 5 minus 4, 1. So this is 2 plus root 5 minus of root 5 minus 2. So root 5 and root 5 will cancel. 2 and plus 2, 4 is your value. Right. Okay, so taking the square root of a surd, right? So that's the concept, a plus root b in that form. So you have to do kind of a matching, right? You have to do kind of, okay, this is how it looks like, a square plus b, this one, and you have to match it with this one. So that matching, right, has to be done. All right. Let's see. Here we go with the next one. Okay. Which of the following cannot be the sum of 15 consecutive odd integers? 675, 345, 975, 450. So, odd integers, particularly when they're consecutive, they are nothing but an arithmetic progression. And you know that in an AP, the average of an AP is the middle term. So if these options are the sum of 15 consecutive integers, so each of those options are, if they are correct, they are 15 times of the average, and the average is the middle term, which itself needs to be an odd integer. In simple terms, the sum over here of these 15 consecutive integers is going to be 15 into the middle term, and that middle term is nothing but another one of the odd integers. So it should be 15 times an odd integer. 675, 345, 975, 450. 675 is 15 into 15, 4 is 60, and then 75, 5. So this is fine. The middle number is 45. 345 is 15 into, then this is 230, and then 45, 323. This is also fine. 23 is odd. 975 is 15 into 15, 6 and 90, and then 75. This is also fine. No issues. But this is the correct choice. 15 into 30. That is not possible. 30 is not an odd integer. Right, so the basic idea of the fact that in an AP, the average is the middle term, right? With 15 consecutive odd integers, we do have a middle term. Remember, middle term does not always exist. It only exists when the number of terms is odd. So with 15 values, the eighth term is the middle term, right? So therefore, that has to be odd. Okay, so uh, keep on practicing, people, right? This is high time that you get into the mode of exam, right? You're balancing between your speed and accuracy, right, in the most efficient way, right? Choosing the easiest questions, right? Getting them in quick time, right? Also leaving out the time, I would say, speed breaker questions, I would say, right? Those which are little more complicated, get away from them, get to the easiest ones, right? So I wish you all the best. I'll see you once again quite soon, right? Thank you so much. uh, right, CL mobile app is there also for your help, so make use of it as part of your learning process. In case you have not yet seen it, it's one of the many ways to uh, you know amp up your learning process. Okay, so I'll see you quite soon with the next session, right? All the best. Thank you.